Okay. I didn't fucking sleep again. I kind of only do these when I don't sleep because I think a lack of sleep means that I have, I should probably whisper everyone to sleep. Like, a lack of sleep means that I have too many thoughts and that I just need to fucking release them. I don't have a diary. I should probably get a diary. I've tried multiple times to journal, but I don't know, something about writing something and not sharing it in the world or whatever kind of just makes me feel like I'm doing it for nothing. And it's like, well, I'm not even gonna read this later. Like, why am I writing this down right here? It's the equivalent of thinking, but it's like long form thought. I was telling that to a friend a few days ago, but oh my god, I can't fucking sleep, and I've just been like ruminating in my head for like hours, and yeah, I don't have a therapist, so I should probably get one. I had one in California, but I live in Oregon now, and I don't have insurance yet, and my therapist did not. Fuck, I left the thing in here. My therapist did not have credentials up here in Oregon, so I don't know. I'm just here. Honestly, like I also see like therapy as the same thing as like journaling, which is just like writing it down for no one or just paying someone to kind of hear about it. I don't know. Why not have like fucking 7 million therapists that watch me and pay me to fucking spill my thoughts here? Is that gonna happen here? You want to pay me $20,000, $50,000? Just pay me whatever you want. But I fucking need money like, really bad because I want to buy so much shit, and I have no shit. That's like sidetracked, but I'm putting on my makeup. I don't know if I fucking told anyone, but I am putting on my makeup. And man, I like really don't want to talk about this because like I don't want to lose a friend, but like I only have like 3 friends, you know? So like the idea of like losing a friend makes me really sad, and like it's just like let me just talk about it. Like I am super I feel like dirty saying this. Like not threatened, is it? I just feel muted. I feel muted when it comes to political ideology and just anything of that nature. It doesn't matter what it is, whatever whatever ism you want to talk about. I just feel like I can't talk about any of that with any of my friends because all of my friends are my age, and all of the friends that are my age are like in this like college university mindset that all other fucking people in the world are. And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. If you don't know what I mean, you don't know what I mean. And I'm not gonna say specifics because I don't want to say like a fucking trigger word. And like I don't know, I feel like people just get triggered by words, and I just I don't know. I have all of this like fucking like bottled up inside of me of just like not being able to talk about stuff with certain people, and that's just always been a phenomenon in my life and probably everyone's life. Like there's this book by Katie Morton that I didn't really read or listen to. I just really like the title is like Are You Walking on Eggshells? And it's about narcissistic parents or whatever, and it's basically saying, are you fucking tiptoeing your way around people because they can't handle what you're gonna say or like what's going on? And like, I fucking love that title because I feel like that's me. And I feel like I'm always trying to talk to people about stuff, and I know where their triggers are. Like I know if I say a word or if I say like a certain sentence, like based on their past traumas or based on like whatever ideas they happen to be like agreed to at the moment, or that they identify with. I just feel like I can't talk about those things. I can't make a like a contrarian a viewpoint. Or maybe I can, and maybe like it's okay to like talk about things and have discourse. Maybe that's okay. Like, I'm okay with that, but I just don't like it when it's a little reactionary, you know? Like, I say a word and it's like, you could tell they have this like annoyance or, I don't know, like hatred, even. Maybe not that extreme, but I just, I'm so scared to talk about people, especially, or not talk about people, talk to people. I'm so scared to talk to people nowadays, and it's really, really like saddening and like it. I was touching on before that it's been coming in little iterances of like, oh, I shouldn't say this to this person, I shouldn't say that to that person. That's been like my entire life, but I haven't really been talking to people for like 6 years, other than like loved ones and my lovers, and because you know I'm a shitty friend and I stopped talking to my friends once I got in a relationship because you know you you're alone for so long and you're like, oh, someone wants to hang out with me every single day, like this is what I'm talking about. And yeah, I was really enamored with being in love or just being in a relationship with someone that might care about me or just wants to hang out with me. Because I've never, I say never, I've never had a best friend, kind of. Like, I had like one in high school, but I haven't talked to him in so long. I haven't talked to a lot of people. I'm slowly like reintroducing myself to people. I've been on Instagram lately and just like banging out some stories and just like, I used to have a fake Instagram in high school too, where you know it's kind of like a diary, but you share it with your friends. And I'm basically doing that with the public now, just anyone who follows me on my regular account, because I don't even post on my fake Instagram anymore because everyone's not there. And I don't know, it's just a closed circuit, and anyone who is there is just talking about the same stuff that they've always been talking about, and like that also makes me sad. But that's a whole other subject. Man, I just like feel good talking about this. I've been staying up all night just thinking about this shit because I just can't sleep. Whenever I can't sleep, it means I need to do something. I had a podcast with Laura like a week ago, and she was reading my birth chart, and what was I gonna say about that? I already forgot. Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say, but I don't know. I am happy to be here talking about stuff. I don't know how together my voice is, honestly. I've been sick for like 2 weeks and my voice was gone. And if you look at my last podcast, it's fucking like this broken ass voice and it just sounds disgusting. And I sound like Katniss Everdeen from, was it the third movie? Yeah, it was. I watched that series so much and I've read the books, the book series twice this single year. And like that was my first read too. It's not like it was this dear thing to my 14-year-old life where I have nostalgia. I just really like dystopian societies, and I don't like them. I just like the idea of them because I feel like we're heading in that direction, or like not. I feel like it's always a possibility in any century or year. So it's good to know about dystopian societies to learn how to prevent it, you know? And speaking of that, I started this podcast talking about how I feel muted and like I can't say shit, and how like I'm afraid of how I'll be perceived based on my viewpoints on certain topics just because they're hot topics. Is that like, that's a store, but it's also like a keyword nowadays, but like hot topics, you know, just like the I like I just feel so muted that I can't even say those words. Like, okay, now that I'm like 9 minutes in this, let me say I'm like environmentalism, veganism, like and there's the like the whole trans debate that's going on with Jordan Peterson, and like you know, like I'm not like completely against everything. I just I'm not completely against all of that, all of what I just said. I'm just trying to touch on the fact that I don't like it when people adopt ideas just because they're popular I'm like, I feel like I've said this multiple times. I hate trends. And I feel like these like political ideologies and social ideologies are just the new trendy thing, but instead it's like, I don't know, hurting our society in ways where it may not be repairable if we go too far, where if you're getting rid of freedom of speech and not allowing people to say things, because that is a legitimate thing nowadays. Like YouTube was like taking down videos because of misinformation, and like I'm a fucking 22-year-old girl who doesn't fucking like know anything about this shit. So like, why would I have an opinion on any of it? But I feel like all of the people my age have this like super ingrained opinion on these things, where it's like, well, do you even know what causes any of this? Like, like, do you even, have you looked into it like conceptually, critically, and like thought about it? Like, have you done the math like work yourself and like kind of like check the facts, or like checked like your math homework? Like, you know what I mean? I need to stop saying like, I'm just so tired, and I'm like very distressed talking about this. Like, my heart is racing. I was gonna put on my makeup, but I just can't think. Maybe I'll start putting my makeup because I feel like a little agitated. Okay, I think I have everything. Okay, let's just get started. I'm really happy, even though it was sad at the time, I'm really happy I lost my voice last week, or for like 2-ish to 3-ish weeks straight. Maybe 1 week straight. The second week, hard to talk. And like, I think by the end of the second week, it was kind of easy to talk, but it was like in a fucking like raspy old man voice. And I'm glad that happened to me, because it allowed me to conceive on how much I valued my voice and valued my ability to talk about things, my ability to like say what I think. Like, those just seem like basic topics, but it just seems like it's so not having it nowadays. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it's just not having it through text message. I don't know. I'm like going all over the place, because it's just this whole convoluted story that I need to put together in my head, and I haven't yet. But like, I have been kind of not talking to my friends for like 6 years because of the reasons I said before. And I recently started coming back to high school friendships and just people that I don't talk to anymore, like childhood friendships, and also like just everyone that I've connected to in my life. I've just been talking to them and like trying to get to know them as an adult human being, because I haven't known them since I was a child, basically, and I'm living life now a little bit. I'm not living life too hard. I'm not paying rent yet. I was, and it was terrible. But fucking shit, man. Like, I love my friends so much, and like, they are their own individual people, and like, I value their opinions on a lot of stuff, and I value like who they are as people, and I value what they have to bring to the world. But there's just like something, I don't know, like it feels like something has gotten a hold of them, because I've been off of social media too, which is why I wasn't connecting them in the first place, because most of my interactions with my friends were on social media. And I don't know like what social media has been doing for 6 years. I don't know, like, has it even been 6 years? I don't know, but maybe not 6 years, maybe like 4 years. I don't know what they've been doing or like what's been going on, but I feel like social media kind of brainwashes people. Like, I feel like everyone talks about that, but no one really like talks about it. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like when I talk to people one-on-one and when I'm connecting with someone, it's a much different feeling than when someone's like reposting something someone else like said, and everyone's reposting that same thing, and everyone's like just lashing onto this idea. Like, let me give an example, because I really don't want to talk about this, but I'm going to. Like, there's this whole Kanye West thing, like, last week or 2 weeks ago. Who gives a shit? But, like, he said some stuff on Lex Fridman's podcast. And by the way, I watched Lex Fridman's podcast. So, I was watching this Kanye West thing before it, like, took fire, before I started, like, seeing stuff on my stories. Because, let me just get into this, because I don't fucking give a shit what Kanye West said. I'm just trying to conceptualize this phenomenon that I see everyone my age doing and everyone that I know doing, basically. Just because it's such a fired system nowadays, and I don't know how to deal with it. Like, I don't know what's right and wrong. I don't know, like, if my thoughts are terrible. I don't know. There's no room for discussion, so I feel like, I just feel like I can't discuss things with people. And, like, I haven't really tried so far. I tried last night, and it was bad. And that's what I was expecting, because that's just what is going on nowadays. Like, you can't talk about stuff. Like, there's friends that I used to talk to 6 years ago, 5 years ago, who knows. But we would, like, have a discourse and, like, go back and forth and be like, blah, 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 blah. You know, like, just open discussion and just, like, stupid teenage girl shit. Like, who gives a shit? Like, hey, you shouldn't have done that, or whatever. Like, I feel like it was easy to talk about anything, even if it was, like, a political ideology at the time. But ever since, like, Trump got elected, like, it's just been going downhill. And also, I stopped talking to my friends around that time too, just because I was getting more into school and less into social interaction, because I'm stupid, and that's definitely not the way to go about life at all. So I haven't talked to people in, like, 6 years or so. Like, I don't know, give or take whatever amount of years, plus or minus. And it just feels like in the time that I've been away from social media, all my friends that have stayed on there, which is like everyone stayed on there. So basically all of my friends that use social media, I feel like they have this, like, I feel like in high school, like, I knew this, like, there's this, like, aura around them right now, and before it used to be just this. Like, it's almost making me cry, like, because, oh my god. Oh, I can't fucking see shit. Oh my god, it makes me so sad saying it, but, like, there's this aura around them. And, like, when I grew up with them as children, like, before we even had phones, you know, or, fuck, I'm so emotional, I don't know why. I know why. Just keep on going, just keep on going. I don't know, if you rewind like 10 years or so, like, when you're just a little kiddo in middle school or elementary school or even high school, like, it's just a pure form of who you are. But maybe it's not, because repression and I just realized I look fucking crazy. But like, maybe it's not completely you, because I think you turn completely yourself when you leave your family life, because like your family can be pretty fucking judgy sometimes, you know? And yeah, when I was with my friends, like we all had pretty shitty family lives. Now that I think about it, yeah. And you know, we found an escape in each other, you know? And I just realized a lot of my friends just have like shitty childhoods, kind of. And that's kind of how we bonded. Let me take a second. I'm getting so emotional. I don't know why. Oh no. Fuck. When you're a kid, you make friends because you make friends with other kids because you fuck with the person that they are. You fucking like enjoy their personality. You enjoy how spontaneous you are. You enjoy how creative they are. Give me a second. Oh shit. I didn't mean to grab more. Oh no. Oh no. You make friends because of their personalities and stuff, and you don't fucking give a shit what they believe about at all. Like, you don't give two shits about, like, oh, this person thinks this way. I don't know, like, I'm trying to think of an example of, like what would make a kid, like, be mad at another kid in terms of his ideas, and I can't think of an example right now. Maybe there's an obvious one. Maybe it's like, oh, you like this boy? You're fucking stupid. Like, I don't know. I do not know. But basically, what I'm trying to get at is that I feel like nowadays people just get so angry when you have a different idea. I don't know why. I don't know why. Like, I don't know, like, I'm okay with, like, being called a dumbass or, like, being called a fucking crazy person. Like, I'm okay with that. But, like, I don't know, don't get, like, angry at me, like, genuinely angry. Like, just call me a stupid ass motherfucker. Like, I don't know why you believe in that, but you're fucking gay. Like, I don't know, just some shit like that. Like, I'm okay with that. But when you're, like, defending these ideas and, like, telling me I should believe in this way, it's like, what do you mean I should believe in that way? like, why are you trying to convince me to, like, go for that side? Like, I don't care what you think. Why do you care what I think? And let me just, like, give the fucking example of what I'm talking about, because I'm just alluding to something and I just don't want to say it because I don't want to lose a friendship, like, really, really bad. But, like, I really value all of my friendships so much because I have so little of them. Like, there's only so many people that want to talk to me, and, like, I don't know. I'm fucking an ungrateful piece of shit sometimes, you know? But I don't know, I digress. Like, I was talking to a friend. Okay, let me just go to the beginning of the story. I was reaching out to a college friend because I was microdosing, and I used to, like, ask him where he got his microdosing material from, and he was like, blah blah blah, and, like, that was cool. And we used to be lab partners in college, and it was fucking great. Oh shit. I feel like I'm being too specific with this story, but I don't know, if you know who you are, shout out to you. But yeah, it was a college friend, and, like, I thought they were pretty fucking cool. Like, I used to I used to get paired with him a lot during lab time for our physics shit because I was gonna be an engineer or like physicist or mathematician or psychologist. Like I was very ambitious in those degrees, but then I realized that everything I was learning could be learned online, and like no one's really teaching me anything here because I was taking a computer science class where they're teaching you Flash the year that Flash was getting rid of, or the year that Google was getting rid of all of their Flash support. And like, just shows you how good a $60,000 university is these days. It's Redlands EDU. Fuck you guys. But also not, because the teachers are great and the professors are great. There's this one teacher that looked like a guy from that Atlantis movie, but and he had a trench coat, and I asked him where he got his trench coat from, and he had no idea. But I am getting super off topic. Yeah, maybe people are waking up in the house, but I'll be a little quieter. But what am I talking about? Fuck, I hate when I get embarrassed. I'm just gonna fucking talk in the bathroom and it's gonna be fine. So this kid that I knew in college, I contacted him and he was still like super cool. He was going to Egypt actually. And like I thought that was cool and everything. And I was like, hey, I'm on Instagram now and I'm like posting regularly. You should follow me on there so you could catch up there because it's like a good medium for catching up with people. I love Instagram. It's my favorite social media. Also, their ad targeting is, oh shit, fucked up. Their ad targeting is on point. So like, the things that they're recommending me to like buy, I'm like, oh fuck, that's a great idea. Instagram, thank you so much. And yeah, I'm just a good consumer, like they engineered me to be. But let me continue the story. So I was talking to a college friend, and like the last time I heard about him, I just like, or the last time I hung out with him for any like college related projects, because that's the only way I hung out with people at that time. That looks shitty. He's just super fucking cool. Maybe he always talked about this stuff and I just didn't know, but I've also never heard him discuss before, so maybe I'm just a stupid motherfucker, you know? But like, he was super cool. He microdosed, he did mushrooms, he's a skater kid. Like, I don't know, I just thought he was a cool person. And like a few hours ago when I was talking to him, I was like, hey, you should follow me on Instagram. And he was like, I don't have an Instagram, but I have a Twitter. Can you follow me there? And I looked at his Instagram for like a second, and it was all environmentalism stuff, and like nothing else, nothing else, just like political, environmental stuff. And I don't know, like maybe I shouldn't have like these grand expectations on people and make a story out of them in my head, and maybe I should just like not put a personality on people, because that's fucking shitty too, you know? But like, I don't know, like, I feel like he has more to offer than that stuff. Like, I just thought he was a really cool person in college, and I thought he just offered a lot in terms of positivity and just good vibes, you know? And that's how I feel with my friends at school. That's what I was trying to touch on earlier, where you don't have friends because of their ideas. You have them because of how much they make you feel like a great person, you know? How much they make you feel alive. And I don't know. And I used to argue with my friends in high school and middle school and stuff, but I don't know. Like, it just feels a lot more eggshelly. It just feels like I'm fearing a loss of a potential friendship. Like, so much more than I used to, and I don't know, I didn't really lose friends in high school or elementary school and stuff. There's this one time where I did, because, you know, I was talking shit and I deserved it. But, you know, you grow out of that shit pretty quickly after, like, you have a loss of a friend that means a lot to you for fucking years or months or however long. And, like, I just think I didn't have to be so eggshelly before with my ideas. And maybe I was compromising, like, I was kind of I don't want to say a doormat, but just a quiet kid and just, like, super in my thoughts. And, like, I think I'm almost done, so let me finish this. I think it's a little too early in the morning to be wearing something like this. Who gives a shit? Who the fuck cares? That looks so beautiful. Look at that. Fucking love about face. Just, like, calms me down, you know? Like, legitimately calms me down. I'm gonna try to put setting spray on this because I haven't been putting setting spray in any of my shit. And I feel like the highlighter leaves pretty fast because it's like a complexion product or something, and it's supposed to be blendable and it's also oily. So I do not know. Let me just blend this shit out because it's not really coming out good. Maybe it's fine. Whatever, that's just how it's gonna be. I just love how highlighter looks so much. But let me put some matte spray on this shit because I gotta put this shit away and go outside. So I just wanted to continue what I was saying because it's actually been a few hours since I stopped recording the bathroom scene. But so what the fuck is going on here? There we go. So it's been a few hours. Is this recording through the headset? Where even is the headset? I'm sure it is. So I called my friend that I was like having this discourse with, and like the problem is we were texting in the middle of the night, and like we both went to sleep, and then I woke up at like, I don't know, like 2 hours later and just could not go back to sleep because I was just thinking about that, and I was like, fuck, I wish she replied. And like I was just left there with my thoughts, but also like like it's funny because that thought was just like something I wanted to like share with her, but it was actually just something that I just needed to get off my chest anyway, and I just needed to talk to somebody about it. And no one's awake at 5 a.m. in the morning or 8 a.m. Well, sometimes at 8 a.m. But basically I had like no one to talk to about it for like 8 hours, and yeah, and I just needed to like lay down the law. But you know, after like talking with my friend and just like I don't know, just getting like different perspectives, having a nice civil phone call, and just like, you know, like humanly connecting with people, like I don't know. I am almost extremely embarrassed by how like I've reacted in the situation, because like my whole thing is that I hate when people are reactionary. I don't really care about the ideas at all. Like I care about the ideas. Like they're probably good ideas. I just don't like look into that shit right now because I'm interested in other things. But like the ideas are fine. I don't care about the ideas. I'm not attacking the ideas. I just don't like when people hold on to ideas so tightly that I can't talk to them about anything, like or just like on those certain topics. Like I can't even say my little spiel on it because they just won't listen, and it's not like a two-way conversation. Like of course I could say it, but the thing I want is a conversation. And if people just like shut down because they just don't want to have that conversation, like I don't know, like I'm okay with not wanting to have a conversation because some conversations be boring sometimes, you know. But if you're not wanting to have a conversation because it's like it angers you, or if the only way you want to have a conversation is if you're arguing against me and it's not a constructive way to build upon an idea, that's what I don't like. I just want to have a nice conversation with people for any topic, and I hate that there's certain topics that like people are just be like, I'm not having it, you know. I think I've covered like the basis of what I wanted to say, so yeah, subscribe to my podcast to my YouTube channel, and someone give me $40,000. I'll set up a donation thing so that you can do that. Oh my god, I'm a fucking mess. This is what happens when you microdose and then try to fall asleep after trying to have a conversation with someone that's like intensely deep. Like I'm a fucking like mental mess, and I just constantly have bombarding ideas that never stop. Also, the neighbor's yard grew their pond back because it dried out for the summer, so it's nice seeing the pond fill back up for the winter fall rain and everything. I don't know why I said winter fall. For the fall rain is what I meant to say. Okay, so I think I've stated what I want to say, and I don't know. Goodbye. Did I say how I was kind of disappointed about how I reacted at all? Because I meant to touch on that point too, and if I didn't, I'll just if I did already, I'll just say it again. But like, you know, I'm reactionary on this stuff too because I just assume no one wants to talk about it, and it's just like I wish I wasn't reacting to it. I wish they weren't reacting to it. Like just the idea being brought up in any way, like, because my reaction to it is like, oh, this person's not going to want to talk to me about this in like a deep sense or in a constructive way, and their reaction is like, oh, this person is not on my side. Maybe that's what their reaction is, I don't know. But like I'm kind of like super like ashamed and embarrassed that I cried like during this podcast, and I don't know, it seems a little extreme, but it is coming from a place of like deep loneliness and this deep sense of it's hard to talk to anybody about anything because no one has the same ideas as me, kind of. Does that make sense? And I don't know, I freaking cried like a little baby, but nothing, can't do anything about that now. I could just not post it, but you know, it's what happened. Like, it's real life. Why not talk about it and like discuss it and not hide it, you know? Like, I had these reactions, why not just share them? Okay, so it's been like a whole day since I've talked, and I've had like a day to think about this stuff, and like I have sleep under my eyes, and I'm breaking out a little bit right there because I didn't sleep yesterday. But I want to talk more about this in like a more cohesive state and not in a state of like microdose mania. So let's get back into it. So I've been thinking about this a little bit throughout the day. It's not my only thought, but it's definitely like in the back of like in like a back category of like all the focus that I have, because I am thinking about multiple things all the time, and it's a little overwhelming, and I probably need to start meditating productively or at all. My meditation now is in car rides or bathtubs, so it's not really like sit down in a chair and do this. I think it's because I'm also physically uncomfortable all the time, so like just sitting down and like trying to meditate also makes me physically uncomfortable just because of my breakouts, but whatever. So I wanted to talk more about this because I think, I want to drink some tea, but it's so hot. It's a hot ass motherfucker. I want to talk more about this because I have more thoughts about it, and like, I don't know, the more I think about it, the more insight I have, which is good. So I think talking about it more will give me further insight. Therefore, I want to talk about it. Oh shit, why am I grabbing this already? So, yeah, me and my friend talked yesterday after she woke up, and because we had a conversation like right before we both fell asleep, and it didn't end with like a solution to the conversation, so I kind of felt a little like antsy for a reply the entire night, and I didn't sleep because my sleeping schedule has been whack. So I just have trouble sleeping at night right now because I'm trying to put my sleeping schedule back into days. So there's all that like overlooming everything. Like the conversation wasn't bad at all. It was mostly just my fucking chaotic lifestyle that's getting in the way of my happiness. But I digress. I'm talking about political ideology and how it just seems to be this like encapsulating I don't want to say shield, but definitely like this aura around individual people. And I don't know, I'm trying to get this idea out, or I'm trying to get this idea sorted through my head where it does not look good. I'm trying to get this idea in my head where people seem to be attached to their ideas when I don't really think the idea, which is what I think this is just an idea. And I think they're personalizing their idea to their individual personality. I think they're attaching themselves to the idea and making that their identity a little bit. And I don't know, kind of getting caught up in the idea to the point where they think it's themselves. But ideas are not yourself. Ideas are not who you are as people. Like, yeah, you can believe them and you can like have like a good understanding of one, and I don't know. You could think enough about an idea for many years or however long to the point where you're like, I think this is legitimately how this phenomenon is like shaping up to be in the world. Like, I think this is the correct way about thinking about this thing, and like I respect that. But you know, when you that's like years of contemplation, even, you know, like years of thinking about something. That I think that's when you should be comfortable enough with an idea to be like, I think that's genuinely me. I think you should always be kind of questioning what you're thinking a little bit, and especially at a young age, like you should always be questioning your thoughts, where they're coming from, like where you got them from, and like how you want to go about these ideas and practicing them in real life. And I think you should always put yourself under scrutiny and not assume that you are correct in any way. And I try to do that as much as possible. I'm a little bit of an arrogant asshole, so sometimes that doesn't come into play, and it should come into play more often, where I am, you know, just not assuming that I know everything in the world, because I don't. And like, I just don't want to come off that way. I don't want to come off as someone that is attached to their ideas and is hard to talk to because I can't, hard to talk to about a certain subject because I can't even fathom the idea of it being incorrect. The only way to, man, I'm breaking out everywhere. The only way to have a conversation is to be open for the possibility of you being wrong, or else you're just arguing with people and not really having an open discussion. And open discourse is super important for growing and gaining wisdom and maturing in your life. So I think everyone should assume that they're wrong in every conversation. But I feel like with any of these political ideologies, because they're such hot topics and everyone's been like, I don't know the right word, like brainwashed maybe, or just convinced that they are correct in every single way. And that's just not the way to have a conversation. Like, I think that's the main reason I don't like talking about these things, because they're just so, like, not generally accepted to have a regular conversation about. Like, it's always like, let me get ready to fucking mute myself so I don't get anyone angry. And I don't like doing that. I don't like muting myself. I came from a tyrannical parenthood where I would get accused about doing something and have no say in whether or not that was a correct statement. And, you know, I'm just like, I'm so used to like this tyrannical relationship with like a conversation, just from my upbringing. And I don't want to resent the people that raised me, so I'm not going to like bash them in any way, because I have a good relationship. I have a good relationship with them now that I've moved out and I'm living my own life and they have no like authority over me. And yeah, my main like sadness about any of this political ideology is that I am starting to feel what I felt with my grandparents. Like, I'm starting to feel what I felt at home with the tyrannical conversation in my friendships dialogue. While before, the dialogue would always be open for discourse, and maybe not always, maybe like there was like slow steps of assuming you're correct, but I feel like it's more prevalent nowadays for people to assume they're correct in anything they talk about, or in just these certain political ideologies where, I don't know, they've been like honed in on the fact that they're correct for some reason. And it's usually just on those ideas, which is why I hate political ideas, even though I don't know how an idea becomes political, but it just seems to ruin everything about that idea. Like, you could have a nice discussion about this, but since it's political, everyone is just ultra heightened about the possibility of where the conversation is going to go. And I don't know why. I'm just a 22-year-old like stupid person, and I just am discussing this stuff to no one because I'm afraid to talk to anyone about it. So I never bring it up or like want to bring it up, and I think they never want to bring it up. Also, some of the topics that are political are legitimately boring and just like no one's even looking into them, so I don't even know why they're political or like agitated in our culture or agitating people in our culture. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, why are these ideas much more talked about and like kind of fretted about more than anything else? So I don't know. Whenever I try to have a discussion with someone, I assume I'm wrong. I kind of turn off any defensive strategy that my instinct is kicking up. And I always say, yeah, I might be wrong. I might be wrong. I might be like completely dumb in this, and I've barely thought about this at all, and I'm just going based off of hearsay. That's the other thing about these political ideologies, is I think they are based off of authoritarian positions. Like, what I mean by that is, I don't want to go into specifics because I know that's going to kind of cause an uproar, because just saying a word seems to trigger people nowadays. I don't know why, but fuck it. Let me just say environmentalism. The only people talking about that are people that, I don't know, went to school for it or whatever. So wait. No, I don't know too much about this. Let me talk about Graham Hancock, because I know a little bit more about that than I know about environmentalism. But it's kind of on the same subject, where scientists are talking about shit and everyone believes them because they're scientists. That idea. I don't really like that line of thinking because it rings too closely. I come from a Catholic background. It rings too closely to how religions see priests, like religious authority. It's the same idea. Like with these scientists, it's like scientists with whatever the idea they're talking about, whether it's environmentalism, biology, whatever, history, whatever. It's just the fact that they have a degree or like a PhD, it just means they're correct automatically. But you got to remember that people with PhDs have different viewpoints, and like this person with a PhD has a different has a different perspective than this person with a PhD. And I think people kind of forget that along the way of the conversation, and I don't know why. I think it's just because they attach themselves to these ideas. So whoever's on their team, they want to, I don't know why there's teams and ideas. Like whoever's on their team, they want to support that instead of the other person that also has the same credentials or similar credentials. They don't want to support that because it's not their idea. Maybe, I am not sure. I just I'm so afraid to talk to people nowadays because I feel like I cannot talk to them, and it is one of the most disheartening thing ever, because I used to always like be able to talk to people about anything, and now I can't. Or maybe I'm just deluding myself and like assuming that I was able to talk to people about anything, but maybe I really wasn't and I'm not remembering it. But as far as I can remember at this moment, I used to be able to talk to people about anything. And maybe this is akin to the idea of I haven't talked to people, so I'm afraid to lose them as friends. I haven't talked to people in a while, and I'm just gaining friendships back, and I'm just gaining like the ability to conversate with people back, just because I've been off in like this college lifestyle for a while. My hair's so tangled. So that also might be the case where I'm projecting this fear of losing a friendship, so I don't feel like I could talk to them, just because maybe I'm not at a good level with them, but maybe it's also because of everything else I just said. I don't know. Like, it's just, like, everything's frustrating me. Like, everything about the current state of whatever that we're in, like, it's very frustrating to be scared to talk about people, be scared to talk to people. I'm not having it. That doesn't look that good. Weird. Makes me look like I have downturned eyes. What if I just kept on expanding it? Is that a bad idea? Okay, that's not bad. That looks good, actually. That looks so good. Wow, that's so mysterious. Mysterious. I really like how that looks. I kind of want to do it further. Like that. I think it wouldn't look good. I think it looks good like that. Okay. Let's clean these brushes and put some highlighter on. Looks pretty good. I actually really like the way I look. I like to scream, I'm a lot to take in all at once. Like the it's perfect. The disheveled hair, and then this, it's nice. All I need is something crazy up here. Like, I'm waiting for some fractal eye paint, some glitter eye paint, and I'll be doing some fucking something weird up here. Sounds good. This background color, the pink, doesn't go well with the look, but we're trying new things every day. I love the way this looks. I love the way it looks so much. Can't wait to take pictures. Did I wash these already? Yes. Yeah. I'll come back to you. So I'm just gonna give like an official conclusion for this because I've been talking about it and thinking about it for way too long. I think it's finally time to put it to rest a little bit. This conversation at least. I'll probably expand on it like some other time when I feel the urge to, but for right now I feel pretty satisfied with everything I've said, because for the past day or two I just been feeling like I need to say something, and now I've said it, so I feel a lot better, and that's basically all I wanted. All I want is to be able to go to sleep at night. Like, and when I just feel like I'm repressing myself, I feel like I can't sleep at night. And that goes for everything, not just ideas. It's just sometimes I'm trying to start so many things right now. Like, I'm starting a music career. I'm trying to start this animation, and what else? I'm also starting to write a book. And like each time I decided to start one of those things, I've just felt tremendously better with my life. Like, oh fuck, I'm doing stuff, you know? And when I started, like, specifically the animation and the book, because those are the last two things, because I went on the music career for a while, but I was focusing only on that and as a passion project. And like, I don't know, I need more. I get bored very easily, and maybe that's akin to my ADHD, who knows. I don't know if I have ADHD. I've never been diagnosed, but who gives a shit if you have? Like, I'm starting to embrace manic culture now, like mania, and just all things wild and crazy, because if they're pretty cool, and I'm reading a lot of books about specifically these topics, or I'm trying to start reading a lot of books. Like, I have this asylum love story book that I've been reading, Lilith, that's been so good. Like, I can't believe this book hasn't gotten out. I wish it was more popular, and so I could talk to people about this. And I'm gonna start reading Sigmund Freud, and there's this one person, Jerry Marazinski. I'll link his YouTube page, but he's also talking about schizophrenic people, and how there's some fucking possible demonic shit going on there, but who gives a shit? But back on the topic, I feel a lot better talking about it. So I think the problem is that I feel resentment towards not being able to talk about it. I don't know why I feel scared, because there's a window right there and I feel like someone's looking at me, but no one is. So let me just get rid of that fear. It's because it's 6 a.m. and it's still, we're still waiting for the sun to rise and it's really dark. So it's just really scary. I also feel like someone's just outside and listening to me, but no one is. So let me get rid of that thought. So back on the topic. I feel like a lot of the problem, and probably why I cried earlier in this episode, is because I've repressed myself from speaking about these things, because I feel like everyone's going to hate me if I do. And that does come a lot from my upbringing with my grandparents and everything, because they were very tyrannical in their speech and kind of like didn't hear or value my opinion that much. Maybe they did a little bit, because sometimes my grandma would be like, oh yeah, you said this one thing and then I thought like that and then I changed that, and like, so it's not pure tyranny. Like, there's still love and heart to my relationships with my parents and my grandparents. My grandparents are basically my parents, if no one knows my story. But yeah, like I just like being heard and being able to talk about something. And when a subject is so hot fire and like hard to say, because I know it's gonna brighten up this fury in the friends that I talk to, whenever a subject like that comes up, I just feel like it's better to just not speak and just be agreeable and just not say what I'm thinking about this, because they're definitely going to argue against me and I don't want to argue, and I just want to be friends with people and just fucking be high and talk to people for like 3 hours straight. And that's what I want. That's all I want. I genuinely like don't want to talk about these things, but like I feel like the lack of being able to talk about it brings resentment in my own heart, and it kind of brings resentment in the relationship. So I think just being able to talk about it and just being able to like speak to my friends about these things is what's going to make this feel better, because I believe I'm just projecting my own insecurities of losing friendships onto other people when I refuse to talk about things, not refuse to talk about things, but I refuse to say something that's contrarian to what they're thinking, just because I want to keep a civil relationship. I don't really think that's the way to go about it. I think I should just tell these dudes like if I think their thinking is wrong, and like what I've heard about stuff, and not be scared of what I've heard about stuff and what I've like processed through, and like what I've like the opinions that I've like sort of valued on the topic. Because I feel like in our age group, it's kind of just this bubble. I'm 22 years old, by the way. In our age group, it's this bubble where everyone kind of has the same ideas, but also like everyone's on the same platforms, like Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, whatever. I mean, I guess YouTube's a little bit more open, but I feel like social media has trapped us in these bubbles where we're just talking to the people that have the same perspectives, and that's okay to like have your little bubble and have a little place you're comfortable in, but I feel like there's no open discourse and no like exposure to any different ideas, especially in a logical, calm fashion. And I just don't like bubbles, and I like being able to talk about different things, and I like being able to have different opinions with people, and that not angering them. And I think a solution to that is just for me to talk more about things that aren't in the popular opinion of the peers around me, and we'll see where that goes. And I don't know, like I don't think I'm gonna lose friendships now that I've spoken to a friend about this. I don't think I'm gonna lose friendships for thinking these things, as long as I stay civil and just like, don't be an asshole. Like, if as long as I'm not an asshole, I think I'll keep my friendships, and I think our friendships are strong enough to withstand a little bit of discourse. So yeah, but if you've watched this and you think, like, on the off chance that you've watched this and you think that, hey, I think the way I go about things and the way that I talk about things is akin to that tyrannical relationship she had with her parents. Like, um, let me go more into that idea of like a tyrannical speech, because a tyrannical speaker and a agreeable person that withholds themselves and only breeds resentment for the inability to talk. Um, but what I mean by tyrannical speaker is this the way you're speaking is very much, I am correct. I've officially gotten the ideas of the person that's objectively correct in the situation. And I don't think that's ever truly possible to say that with like 100% concrete evidence, because even if you're getting your information from a person with a PhD, from whoever, like a person that's super on the topic, they also have their own like biased opinion, and you're not too sure whether or not that has influenced their results. And it's important to get to different perspectives with multiple people, with multiple people with the same PhD, and like people with the same PhD might have different viewpoints, and you're not really sure who's correct in this situation, because like, especially people in my age group who, like, I'm mostly talking about myself. I don't know shit about anything. Like, I am just gaining the observations of everyone around me and everyone I listen to. And I mostly just listen to a lot of podcasts with 40 to 50-year-old comedians or intellectuals, and not even intellectuals. I mostly just comedians and whoever they listen to and whoever they talk to. And that's where I get most of my ideas from. So that's why I feel like my ideas are a lot different than people in my age group, because I feel like people in my age group are mostly listening to people around their age plus or minus 5 years. And I feel like people my age plus or minus 5 years mostly have the same opinions. And so it's just this thought bubble. And I think to have like nice open discourse and nice like conversation and to grow each other in different ways, we should be able to incorporate different ideas from ideas that we're not comfortable with or people that we're not comfortable with. And I think if you're looking at someone that you like don't like for some reason, like, why don't you like them? And maybe they're just a shitty person, but maybe you just don't like them because they have a different idea than you. But like, what if both of you are correct? Both of you might be correct. So the only way to grow as people with both of you guys is to merge your ideas and grow those ideas and try to find where they connect. Like, I think about this, I think this, and he thinks that. What if I merge with his ideas, and for some reason when these intersect, this little idea makes a lot more sense. And like, now we both could grow in a way that, oh, they actually had a point. And he's like, oh, they actually had a point. And that's the way to have a conversation. That's the way to grow as people, especially if you have different opinions. Does that make sense? So yeah, on the off chance that you've heard this and you're like, hey, am I a tyrannical speaker? And if you want to take advice from a stupid 22-year-old girl, just ask yourself, the way I go about speaking about a certain topic, if I heard like the way I go speaking about a certain topic, if I heard someone else I didn't like speaking in that manner, like in an authoritarian manner, like, you should believe this because this, that. Like, that is a total like close off way to talk to someone. Like, oh, you should think this. Like, you shouldn't. Like, I feel like I just also spoke in that manner. So let me just say how hypocritical I am and stupid I am in a lot of scenarios. But If you're speaking in a manner where you're like, you should think this because of this and I'm correct, that's not the way to go about a conversation. I think the way to go about a conversation is to be open and be like, hey, I heard these ideas and I don't know if I'm fucking right. I don't know if they're right. I don't know what these ideas are. I am just like a small human being that's 22 years old and I can't pay my rent. like that's basically who you are. These are the ideas that are like that you're connecting yourself to, but this is you. Like, you are not your ideas. This is your idea. This is you. Don't attach yourself to your ideas or the ideas that you adopt at this current state of mind. Like, have your own individuality and have your own story come out. Don't grab onto them. They aren't you. So here's the exercise I'm trying to implement. So when you hear yourself talk, and you talk in a way where if you heard someone else that you don't like and who have ideas that you don't like talk in that manner, like, does your speech relate to that speech that you hate, you know? And let me give a little broad example of this is I'll give a few examples. So I'll be a little bit more specific because I'm trying to abstract the thoughts so I don't get too harsh into the details to the point where it turns you off, because I feel like sometimes when I say words, it just turns people off and doesn't, or it will turn people off. I haven't really discussed this at all with people because I feel repressed in my ability to speak about these things, which is why I'm talking about it now, because I don't want to feel repressed anymore. I'm procrastinating before saying this, so let me just say it. So I'll just give the specifics now that we're at the end of the video, and I think everyone that will blow up at me has already done so in previous iterances. So now that we're at the end of the video of people who have watched this far, I'm mostly talking about woke ideology that I'm completely afraid of, and I don't even want to talk about the subject at all because I feel like, based on what I've seen in social media and what has been highlighted on the internet, which is not a good place to see how the world is nowadays because not everyone's like that. This is why I like talking to individuals more than just seeing what's going on in the world, because that's just sometimes the worst of the world is highlighted, and I don't believe that's what everyone is like, and I don't think anyone should believe that. But I'm very afraid of woke ideology because why am I afraid of it? Because I'm afraid if I speak to these people that I am like friends with, and if they have adopted the woke ideology, I'm afraid that they will not enjoy me anymore, not want to talk to me anymore. And I don't want that because I like talking to people and I'm a lonely person most of the time. But I think my inability to talk about, I'm also just reviewing with myself. I think my inability to talk about woke ideology is bringing resentment in my own heart. So it makes me less connected with the person I'm talking to because I feel like I'm restricting a part of myself that I want to show to them, but I don't want to lose them as a friend. So let me give some like deep examples. People in the woke ideology say they're open-minded, but I don't really think that their actions prove that they are open-minded. You know what I mean? Because with woke ideology, it's a very closed system, and it's very like an I'm correct situation where they what are the specifics? I'm also trying to think about this now that I'm allowing myself to speak about the specifics. So I'm not saying that I believe in any idea that I'm going to spell out now. So just don't hate me, please. I just don't want people to hate me. So I think a subject that I'm familiar with because I watch a lot of Jordan Peterson is that he talks about a lot of trans people, and I think with that woke ideology, it's like, oh, I'm a woman, I am a man based on what I believe, and I like that. I've dealt in and I've dealt myself in androgyny before, and I like the ability to cut my hair and fucking just, I don't know, like wear a really tight bra and just be like, ah, fuck, I look fucking cool. That's cool, and I completely support anyone's decision to like express themselves in a masculine manner if they want to, if they're a female, or in a feminine manner if they want to. Like, I think it's a really cool way to go about things. But I feel like people get turned off by like the conservatives because the conservatives are like, no, you're a male or female because of blah 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 blah. And like, I think both sides should be a little open-minded, because I think it is legitimately cool to dress as like a sex that you're not and in a non-traditional format. But also with these conservatives, I think they have a point with it where it's like, hey, like, if you're a man, fucking like be fucking strong and be like be nice, and that shouldn't be a those are lessons that shouldn't be taught to only men. I think everyone should be strong and like be able to provide for themselves and be like strong enough in your character to take different ideas. Like, I don't know. I feel like both sides are like correct in different ways. Like, the conservatives are correct in a way where it's like, hey, like, people should have kids, and like people should um like, I don't know, not be afraid of who they are and not be afraid of the thought that, hey, before you, like, because the whole conservative argument in this situation is that, hey, like, just saying that you're a woman doesn't make you a woman, and, or just saying you're a man doesn't make you a man. And that is, like, that's an idea. Like, and also there's the idea of like, the opposite idea is like, no, that is correct. If I say I'm a man, I'm a man, and I was never a man before. Like, that's the like left woke ideology, like liberal. I don't really know, but the conserv the conserv the conservative idea for this is that, hey, I think that you should acknowledge the fact that you were not a woman before you turned into a woman, and that's okay. And the other idea is like, hey, I was always a woman, and like, yeah, that's like a mental thing, but biologically you did like get born with a dick, you know? So I think closing off the fact that you're born with a dick isn't reasonable, and you should like basically be true to be true to yourself and not lie to yourself. Like, you were born with a dick, so like you were born as a man. And like, yeah, you were always like psychologically a woman, and you're always psychologically feminine, and that's cool. Like, it's not bad. I think both ideas are correct. Like, who's to say who's like completely 100% right? Like, I think these two ideas should merge together. And that's with those ideas. So why am I talking about this? I don't know, but I'm just trying to give specific examples now, because now that I've opened up the possibility for specific examples, I was still like repressing my speech previously in this podcast, so you could see the level of allowance that I give myself, and now I'm giving myself like basically all the allowance, because I feel like it's later in the video where it's not too big of a deal. And I don't know, I've already went through a variety of emotions here, so I feel less scared to show more of my ideas in a calm manner now that I've gotten some sleep. And like, you could basically bring this thinking to everything, you know? like every single political idea or topic, or just not even political, every idea or topic, you just bring this in every discussion you want to have, you know? And let me just touch on the other political ideas since I'm already here. So adopting the adopting the authoritarian ideas, adopting the authoritarian positions of where your ideas are. So let me go back on that. So believing in scientists and people with PhDs and stuff in that matter, like authoritarian, like positions to where those ideas are respected more because of their PhD, because of their research, and like there is something to that. Like you should listen to the ideas of someone who's thought about this more than you have. Like that's good. It's good to like, hey, you know more about this? Fuck yeah. Like, and you seem pretty like well endowed and you're not like crumbling as a person. Like, okay, then yeah, let me see what you're thinking. And okay, it makes sense. It makes sense in my heart. So like, okay, that's just like an overview of the idea. Like, going based off of scientists and authoritarian ideas. So I feel like with the current state nowadays, the woke left ideology, the big ass thing that has happened is the fucking stupid ass vaccine stuff that's been going on for the past 2 years. So there's this whole like believe the science movement that happened for the past 2 years, and like it is true, you should believe the science. Like scientists should be listened to, especially if they've thought about a lot about the subject. My only problem with how the left were going about it is that they were only viewing certain scientists, and like they're only hearing the ideas of the scientists that had their ideas, and I didn't really like that. I wanted to hear both sides of the story, and I didn't like that only one side of the story was being told, because there were scientists that were like, hey, I don't fucking think this is what we should be doing, and those ideas were suppressed, and I don't like that suppression idea, the suppression of ideas at all. Like, I don't like that people that were scientists and that did have credentials were legitimately like taken off of platforms because it was considered misinformation. And who's to say what misinformation is? My biggest problem with that, my biggest pet peeve is that with the whole misinformation thing, the people who are deeming misinformation or little technocrats and people who work in YouTube or Google, or like the people that aren't on the subject, like the people that were doing the restrictions of mis and malinformations weren't the scientists themselves. It was the people that were on the platforms and like who, because like I said, it's a closed network of ideas. So the people who are coding and like what and deeming what misinformation is basically, do these people have a different idea than me? Okay, then it's misinformation. That's not the way to go about it. I don't consider that misinformation. I don't think anything should be deleted in general, because if someone's saying something and it's false and it's a stupid idea, then it's kind of obvious when something is a stupid idea, you know? Like, I think you should respect individuals enough to be able to discern what a bad idea is and be like, hey, that scientist said that like frogs are gay or something. And first of all, that is like kind of proven. But let me say a different example. Like, that scientist said that toads are actually people. Like, you know, like something weird like that. And it's like, fuck, are toads people? Like, and then you look into it and you're like, oh fuck, toads, like toe, by toe I mean like a toe on your foot. It's nonsense, you know, like just some nonsense thing. If you hear nonsense and like you look into it, you're like, oh no, that was fucking bullshit. Like, and I think you shouldn't delete bad ideas because it's pretty funny being able to disprove them, you know? Like, it's funny to be like, those people are fucking, like, toes are not people, you know? Like, it's funny to like see how wrong someone is. So I don't really believe in the deletion of misinformation, just because it's funny to see how like terrible an idea gets, and it's funny to, and it's and also the people that have the idea are able to get discourse on that idea and be like, everyone says that my toes are people idea is wrong. Am I wrong? And then they're able to like change their ideas. Isn't that like beautiful? Isn't it beautiful to be able to change your ideas? I don't know. I just like feel really good saying that for some reason. Like, it's funny to see how wrong someone is. So don't delete an idea based on if you think it's wrong, because if it is wrong, allow them to speak and allow people to listen to it and be like, fuck, that guy's incorrect. Like, and this is how you grow as a person. It's how you grow in the ability to have a conversation and ability to, I don't like the word debate, but debate someone. I don't know. Like, so I think the lessons I want to like review here, the lessons that I've actually like gained in talking about this, is that if you feel like saying something, say it, because or else you're going to repress it. And this is something my boyfriend taught me a few years ago when like we were living together for the first time, and like we were having discourse, and like, you know, when you start living with someone and you've never lived with someone in your entire life, so you're not used to like trying to like get rid of these like little inconveniences that you have, you know what I mean? Let me go over this topic a little bit. So when I first started living with my boyfriend and like becoming an adult, basically, there was like certain things that I didn't like, and I would just keep that in myself because of the same phenomenon of like, oh, I don't want to make him angry, I don't want to make him sad, I don't want to, you know, that type of thinking. Like, I completely projected my fear of losing a friendship or losing a relationship in that case. Um, I projected that fear in a way where I suppressed my own thoughts and feelings, and that suppression creates resentment. So the important thing to do is to be able to speak. And that's the lesson I learned in this. Like, I am going to start speaking about these ideas because I am uncomfortable when I don't speak about things and when I don't do something that I want to do. So I'm going to start doing that. It's really cool. It's a really cool idea, and I'm glad I started thinking about it. So yeah, like, fuck shit up. That's cool. Like make a little bit of discomfort in the conversation. It's fine. Like, oh, I'm uncomfortable and you're willing to talk to me. This is cool. This is cool. Let me just like, wow, this is cool. You know? Like when you're having a conversation, like that's the kind of that's the kind of movement I see when you're having a conversation with someone that you're like having different ideas with. It's like, oh, you're right. Oh, I'm right. Like, you know? It's cool. It's really cool. So don't be afraid to say what you want to say. That's one lesson that I've learned. If you're a person that thinks that you have a tyrannical way of speaking, here's a test to see if you are a tyrannical speaker. When you speak in a way for a certain idea, it doesn't matter what the idea is. Like, should I just say an idea? Okay, let's do veganism because that's something I'm really accustomed to. I was a vegan before, so I've had vegan ideas for a while, and I've like known them, and I'm accustomed to them, and I've kind of discoursed them in my own brain where I'm no longer a vegan anymore. So let's have an example for a tyrannical speaker. Oh, you shouldn't eat meat because you're killing animals and you're a shitty person. Like, that's an idea. And just hear yourself speak. So I've never spoken in that way when I was vegan, by the way. I didn't care how other people ate at all. Like, it was just my own like ethical like immaturity to not be able to fathom the idea of killing an animal. But I think I'm just going to go lightly into this topic. I think veganism is an immature way of thinking because in order to exist, you're going to be killing other things no matter what. Like in order to be in nature, you have to consume nature. You are part of nature no matter what. And just like that idea of like agriculture kills mice and stuff, blah, 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 blah. Who gives a shit? But basically, you're a part of nature. Don't take yourself out. Like, don't believe that you have the ability to take yourself out, because even if you're eating only vegetables, you are still consuming nature, and consuming animals is consuming nature. And I get the entire idea of factory farming. Like, that's fucking terrible, but it's all we could do right now. And that's why I want to get into the idea of hunting and have this native approach to loving my food, blessing my food, and like being grateful for this animal for sparing his life for me. I want to start hunting elk and be able to do that so that I can not feel guilty when I eat, because that is a legitimate issue. So that's why I want to learn how to bow hunt and stuff. Like, if I am going to kill an animal, I am like, if I'm going to eat an animal and animals are getting killed in order to be eaten, I have to do the killing myself so I like know what it's like and not be in this like blind mindset of like, oh, I'm just eating meat. I didn't kill this, like, because that's what most people in the world are doing right now. So that's my idea on veganism. But let me go back to what I was saying on that lesson. If you think you're a tyrannical speaker, where it's like you shouldn't eat meat because you're an asshole, like let's put that in the words, put that way of speaking in the words of someone you don't like, who has, wait, not someone you don't like, put that way of speaking in the words of someone who has contrarian ideas to you. So so what you're saying is, oh, you shouldn't eat meat because you're an asshole and you're killing these animals and you're a shitty person. Put that in this other like mindset, or this other idea. Like, for me, I'm gonna give a example of Catholicism, because I was very turned off with that earlier in my life. I was very atheist and not accepting ideas. I'm a little bit better on that now, so I'll touch on that idea later. So put it in the perspective of someone that's like overly religious and zealous, and where they're like, you should not sin, and you should respect God and love God, and you should fucking do like follow these commandments, or else you're a fucking sinner. I like, the vegan that says that is the same as the Catholic person that says that you're a sinner or you're an asshole. Like, it's the same idea. It's the same way of speaking to me. So if you're judging people or like fucking condemning people because of whatever they're doing, I think that's not the way to go about things. And there's this whole idea that political ideology is a substitute for religion at this point, because God is basically not, because God isn't a popular idea anymore. Religion isn't a popular idea anymore. I think our culture is steering more towards atheism, but the tendency to want to adopt an idea and like really revolve your personality around it is still there. The dogmatic approach to things is still present in our biology as a human. I think we were bred, or not bred, but I think we've developed our personality and just the way of being a human based on the idea of having a religion. So the need for a religion is still there. So I think the lack of having a religion and having a practice with spirituality has been kind of traced off into, now people are adopting political ideas and political ideologies as a religion now, because the dogmatic speaking is the same as what used to happen with religion, because there used to be religious authority with priests, and that's the same thing as scientific authority with scientists and PhD havers and academics. Like, I see the priest idea the same as believe the science and the scientist idea. It's the same type of dogma, in my opinion. It's the same type of like closed off thinking that people seem to have nowadays. Do I have anything else to say about this? So my review. So say what you want to say. if you're a tyrannical speaker, try to see if you're a tyrannical speaker. Like, observe your own speech and see if you are one of these people that talk in a tyrannical way where you're closing off other people's ideas, because that's not cool. And when you meet someone that has different ideas than you, when you meet someone that has different ideas than you, when you meet someone that has different ideas than you, try to observe their ideas and try to observe your ideas and try to see where those ideas connect, because that's how you're going to connect with someone. Like, see their ideas and see how your ideas relate to them, because you basically have two truths. The best thing to do in that situation is to see how you make a third truth. Does that make sense? I don't know, but those are my 3 lessons. Speak to people about the ideas that you have, so you're not resenting them for not being able to speak them. Look at your own speech and see if you speak in a tyrannical way at all. And when you meet someone with different ideas than you, try to see where those ideas connect and try to have a respectable conversation where, hey, you think this, I think this is our little third truth. And I think that's beautiful. So I feel really good after saying that. So thanks for listening. If you did listen, this was fucking cool. I like all of what I said. All of this, like, I've been wanting to say this for a while. And I think I'm almost out of data in here, so I'm gonna go. I feel great. I feel great. Also, I wanted to talk about my makeup a little bit. Doesn't this look fucking cool? I've seen a lot of people do this, so it's not a new thing, but I love this, like, inner eye look, because I think it brings out the mystery of our soul. I think it's just like, because if you look at any Cleopatran makeup design or Egyptian makeup design, and if you don't know too much about Egyptian religion, it's very ancient, and I think as ancient as religious ideas get. And I think there's a thing to ancient religious ideas to where I think that has, like, a more well-rounded approach to how we should be as people. Get back to the religious ideas. Religions have a fucking point on how to live life. Like, I think they're just nice ways to adopt morals from. Like, yeah, the story, like, people get way too attached to the stories, and that's just the problem of dogma, which is the entire thing I've been talking about nowadays. But religion has a lot of life lessons to learn if you just listen to them and learn from them. And ever since I started spirituality and, like, doing tarot readings, learning about magic and occultism, I felt really good with myself. And I don't think you should close yourself off to the idea of religion, because that's just another thing that people are, like, closing themselves off to. So be open-minded, be truly open-minded, because the woke say they're open-minded, but they're not, because they're open-minded about certain things, like being gay. That's cool. Like, be open-minded about being gay, obviously, but also be open-minded about religion. Be open-minded about conservative ideas, because right now you're not. If you are in a woke ideology, right now you're not. If you're not considering an idea, that means you're not open-minded. That's just the definition of an open-minded idea, you know? So that's it. That's, like, be open-minded about stuff. Like, being open isn't a problem. And obviously don't go into a cult and kill yourself like any of these people that have been into cults. Like, don't be a slave through religion or through ideas. Yes. All right, I'm good. But I was going to talk about my makeup. I love the way this looks, because I think it brings out a lot of mystery, and I think a lot of those Egyptian ideas and Egyptian culture is fucking cool. And I think mystery is cool. I think wizardry is cool. And I want to bring out more of that chaotic nature of the unknown in my life. Goodbye. This is really cool. Bye. I love that I talked about everything I talked about. So thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. This is, I feel completely better with my life. Now that I've said these things, like I'm gonna continue to talk about people. No, I'm gonna continue to talk to people about these things because I feel really good talking about it. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I'm not gonna like burge into conversations where it's like, it's have you heard about environmentalism? Like, I'm not gonna do that. But if it comes up, I'm not gonna be afraid to say what I think. Not anymore. I don't want to resent people anymore. And if I can't say what I think, I'm gonna resent people. And I want to be friends with people. I want to be friends with the entire world. So, bye.